Alrighty, welcome back everybody. We just had NFL kickoff, the first game of the season, and it was the Buffalo Bills versus the Los Angeles Rams. And I gotta say, it was a pretty disappointing game. I honestly really believed that the Rams would just show a little more fight. It would be a closer game. I did pick the Bills to win this, but the Rams just came off a Super Bowl, and I just gotta say it was a bit of a disappointment. I did have these two teams ranked at number 1 and number 2, Bills at 1, Rams at 2, and I just gotta say that the Bills dominated that game. In the first quarter, first half of the game, it looked like we might be getting a game here. The Rams defense was definitely doing their job of holding back Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen did score relatively early into the game. Once it got to that second half, the Bills, it was just all Buffalo. It was all Buffalo. And I gotta say, the Bills offense, they looked pretty good without Brian Daboll. Their first game without him, I guess, it was a massive loss, but I guess not too big. They still got to keep the same offense, and, it worked out for them. It worked out pretty well. Turnovers were an issue for them. They did not do too well in that department. 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. They're going to have to clean that up, but they were playing against a very good defense. And honestly, I don't know. Besides the turnovers, Josh Allen was out there looking like Peyton Manning. He was just, especially in that second half, he was just unstoppable. There was nothing the Rams could do in that second half to slow him down. The new look defense, the new look for the defensive line for the Bills was scary, to say the least. They were scary, to say the least. Like I said in my first video, they have been a leader in this league when it comes down to quarterback pressures, getting in the backfield under McDermott's reign for the past 5 years. And now they have one of the best defensive lines in the entire league, and their defense is scary, man. They frustrated the hell out of Matthew Stafford in that game. And they completely shut down the Rams running game. The Rams had nothing going for them when it came to running the ball, and that was their kryptonite last night. They just couldn't move the ball on the ground, and it put a chokehold around their team, and yeah, it was just disappointing for the Rams. Their O-line disappointed, but I gotta say, was it really more of the Rams' O-line sucking or the Bills' defensive line just being insane? I mean, the Rams' D-line had, I think, 7 sacks. Matthew Stafford spent half the game on the ground, and he was just frustrated. He couldn't get the ball moving. The only thing working for them on offense last night was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, he had 13 receptions, 128 yards, and a touchdown. And he was the only sign of light on their offense in that game. And their poor defense, the Rams' poor defense, they did a really good job. 4 turnovers is a lot, especially against an offense as high-powered as the Bills. But when you just don't have your support from your offense, what can you do? It's just there's nothing really. If you spend the whole game on the field, eventually the opponent's going to chip away at you. You're going to get tired, and that's what happened. The Bills cracked open the second half, and they just kept running after that. There was nothing the Rams could do. It's a very disappointing game for the Rams, and I gotta say, they did move down quite a bit. I don't want to overreact because, hey, it's the first game of the season. The Bills team now we know how good the Bills are. They just blew out the team that just won the Super Bowl 31-10. The Bills are good, and they are coming for that AFC title. And right now they're leading the pack. I mean, there's a lot of competition in the AFC, but it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy playoffs, a crazy season this year, and we're going to get a lot of good games. I gotta say. And I don't know what else to say, man. It was a disappointing game for the Rams. The Bills stand very firmly at number 1. The Rams have definitely slid down my tier list a bit. I would probably now, I mean, I'm hoping that the Bucs look better than the Rams this year, because I want to see some competition come from the NFC side. I know that once they get into the playoffs, the AFC is going to be such a bloodbath. Whoever makes it out of there is going to be crawling on their way out. Meanwhile, whoever makes it out of the NFC is going to be probably pretty fresh, considering that there's not a lot of competition in the NFC. The NFC is very top heavy. There's really like 3 teams in the NFC, I could say, are 4 teams in the Super Bowl conversation on the NFC side. It'd be the Bucs, the Rams, the Niners, and the Packers. And I mean, I don't know, man. It's a weird year, and I hope the Bucs are pretty damn good, because I would like to see a competitive Super Bowl this year. I don't want the Super Bowl to end up being... Don't get me wrong, last year's Super Bowl was a great game. Maybe a little boring. It got a lot more exciting towards the end. But I don't know, I'm just disappointed with the team that I thought was going to be the top team coming out of the NFC. And honestly, I got to rank them lower than the Bucs, just out of hope that the Bucs are better than them, and that we get to see a little competition once we get to the Super Bowl. Give me 1 second to pull up the game stats. I apologize for the hold up. So yeah, 31-10. Jeez. So Josh Allen threw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So I mean, that just says all it needs to say. And even Matthew Stafford put up 240 yards. They just kept getting stalled out on their side of the field, on top of the fact that he threw 3 interceptions, which isn't very good. The Bills didn't even have their top DB, and to say the least, they kind of just got wrecked. They got wrecked on offense. Josh Allen was also out there looking like Derrick Henry with the football in his hands, stiff-arming people. Come on, he had 10 rushing attempts, 56 yards, and a touchdown. That means he was averaging 5.6 yards per rush. That's more than the Rams' top running back, Darrell Henderson, who had 13 attempts and 47 yards. That says all it needs to say. And when it came down to receiving, Stephon Diggs had an amazing game as usual. 8 receptions, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. Same thing with Cooper Kupp. 13 receptions, 128 yards, and 1 touchdown. So even though Cooper Kupp gave their offense quite some juice, it was not enough, and their running game was really bottlenecking everything for them. And it's just disappointing to see that. It's disappointing to see the team that you had ranked at number 2 get blown out 31-10 in the first game. But at the same time, it's exciting to see how good this Bills team are. is right now it looks like it might be a walk for them in the Super Bowl. I think the Chargers are going to give them a lot of trouble in the playoffs if they end up meeting. I think the Broncos could give them a lot of trouble, but I don't know. I'm hoping the Dolphins might be able to step it up through the season. They have a lot of questions, but, there's also a lot of potential there. The Saints actually might be a really good team coming out of the NFC, and I'm really hoping they are. That might be a surprise and might cause for some excitement. But yeah, besides that, it's my video for today. The Bills stand firmly at number 1, and for me, the Rams slide down to number 6. So, yeah. Alrighty, well, thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.